Today we're going to talk about side gigs. Now, by definition, according to Google, side gig, also known as side hustles, are additional jobs people take on to supplement their income, often done in addition to a primary job. Now, that doesn't mean that you need a regular job in order to get a side gig. A side gig is literally, in my opinion, anything that you do for money that isn't like a full time job. So, you don't need a full time job to start a side gig. I I've always randomly dove into the topic of side gigs and gig economy and side hustles and all that stuff. And for some reason, the past like decade, the internet has turned side gigs into some like weird, unachievable niche of like drop shipping and finding $1 million painting at Goodwill or buying something for like 50 cents from your neighbor that's worth like $150 and selling it on eBay. And none of them really explain to you the reality of that. Not to mention the drop shipping people. I've never actually met a drop shipping person, and the ones that do exist are always trying to sell you something. Not their drop shipping thing either. They're trying to like they try to like gatekeep the idea of drop shipping. Like, well, no one knows how to do it, but I can show you how. It's like this weird, unattainable thing, and just the idea of side gigs, I feel like, has become very watered down and almost like a grift at this point. So today I wanted to talk through, I think five side gigs that I know of that I have partaken in that are lucrative and have almost zero startup costs. And I want to explain, at least in my opinion, in my experience, how these side gigs work. The first one being landscaping. Landscaping doesn't need to be this big extravagant thing where you need equipment and stuff like that. What's nice about being an individual human being is you get to screen your jobs. So if somebody's like, hey, I need you to dig a pond, to be like, oh, we're not actually equipped to do that. I'm sorry. Now, the biggest part of all of these jobs you're going to need is network. You need to know people, you need to meet people, you need to get your name out there, even if it's something as simple as spending $5 at the dollar store, making a sign and putting it on the street corner. But with tools like Facebook and Nextdoor, which are both free by the way, it's pretty easy to network and to kind of build your own brand from that point for free, entirely for free. You just have to talk to people. I think that's the biggest barrier to entry with all of these. So landscaping can be as simple as laying down some sod, which obviously you would need a vehicle to transport the sod. That's overhead, but I'm going to assume most of you guys are adults with vehicles watching this. So laying sod requires nothing but the sod, in which case you would quote the client, get a deposit, which your deposit should always cover your materials, do the job, and then collect the remaining due from the client after the job is done. That's with laying sod. You can do the same thing with mulch. You can do the same thing with tree trimming. All of this stuff, when you quote the job, you can start with zero tools. And you got to know, obviously, like I'll get back to you and let you know if this is something that we can do. Let them know that. Get the quote ready for them. Like this is going to be a $2,000 job and the tools are going to cost me $500. So at the end of the day, you're going to make $1,500 profit, let's call it, because you don't have an office. You don't have employees if you're just an individual, and you can hire people too. You can have your friends come join you if you got kids even. Be honest with your clients. Let them know, this is a side gig for me, or I'm trying to make this into a thing for myself. People like it when you're honest. They like honesty. You don't always have to be some prim, proper, white collar businessman. People are just like everyday folks like you and I. So there's no reason to treat them any different from the way that you would treat your friends or your family. But this, in my opinion, is the most lucrative just because this is a big chunk of what I do in my day-to-day life to make up my personal income. And mine obviously goes a little bit further because I have equipment and stuff, but this is the one that I have the most experience with. Next, kind of falls under the same realm as landscaping, spring and fall cleanup. This one is incredibly lucrative because everyone's yard is going to be filled with leaves come fall. In the springtime, everyone's plants are going to be kind of a little crappy looking. Maybe they didn't really put that much effort into raking last year, so they got a bunch of dead leaves left over this year. All that stuff. So, and this one can be networking on the internet, on Facebook, on the Nextdoor app, anything like that. Just go to like all of the marketplace posts or just Facebook group posts. Most of them are people looking for work, and you can even just put yourself out there. Be like, I'm looking to do some work for people looking to have leaves removed, or looking to have their shrubs trimmed for the summer or whatever. It's really simple, and you need a rake. Same thing as landscaping job. You get a deposit, you go buy your equipment, and you start the job the same day. So this one's nice and easy. Uh, Literally almost no overhead, unless you're leaf blowing, but you probably shouldn't offer that service if you don't have a blower. Gutter cleaning. Gutter cleaning is a great one because you just got to buy the bags and gloves and a ladder. So you charge somebody a couple $100, you go buy the equipment. Your first job's probably going to be net zero profit, but you're going to have the equipment after that to continue to do gutter cleaning. Obviously, if somebody's got a really steep roof and you're not comfortable going up there, then maybe let them know that you can't do the job, or just do it from the ladder, from the gutters. Just make sure that you're not biting off more than you can chew. If you don't think you're capable of this, then pick something else. There's plenty of options. But gutter cleaning, very lucrative, especially in places with a lot of trees. So definitely something to check out. Same concept. You got to network, get your name out there. You can do the Nextdoor app. You can do Facebook. I'm sure Twitter, maybe. I don't know. It depends on where you live, I'm sure. Power washing. Power washing, a little bit more of an overhead cost. But with the first job, same concept. You get the deposit, you go buy your power washer, and you do the power washing. Now, if somebody needs something crazy like this guy, obviously, you don't offer that service. Like, we're not equipped to do this job yet. Maybe get a hold of us next year. If somebody just wants their house washed, then wash their house for them. Their deck, their bricks, their patio, anything like that. Power washers are not that expensive. And if you know how to operate one and you're confident, offer power washing. And the last one, pet sitting or dog walking, anything like that. It doesn't require anything but your body. Unless for some crazy reason the person wants you to provide the leash, then in which case you're probably gonna have to come out of pocket for that at first. But dog walking, I don't have any experience with dog walking in particular, but I do have experience pet sitting, and it's a lot of fun, especially if you're an animal person. It can be incredibly lucrative. People really care about their pets. They care about their dogs. So it's definitely something that, especially if you live in a big city, people are more than willing to pay for. So this is my opinion on the side gig scenario. See, Google has babysitting. Babysitting's a little more complicated, especially if you're a man. But there's situations where, people's kids can get hurt or something like that. There's a lot more, I don't know, there's a lot more to babysitting than something like landscaping or dog walking. Dog walking, I guess, is close to babysitting, but not really, honestly. Blogging, I don't know how anyone would ever make money blogging. Same with photography. Branded surveys are a scam. Freelance writer. These are from like 2005, I swear. Social media management, coaching, online reseller. That for whatever reason, Google has like this really weird, out of touch idea of what a side gig is. Brand ambassador, resell thrifted items. This one's my favorite because everyone does this on like TikTok or something. They probably make more money from TikToking than from reselling random items that it's kind of like the storage wars. When they go through the storage unit and they just find like a bunch of junk, they're like, this keyboard's worth at least $40. This half drink can of Red Bulls, I could sell this for $5. This glasses case is worth $20. Everyone watching is like, where? Where are you selling this stuff? They sell it at like a random like schizophrenic expo where all these like filthy rich schizophrenic people just buy junk. Mystery shopper, this one cracks me up too. This one actually became a little more realistic when like Uber Eats and what's the other one? Instacart came around. So this one, I've actually paid for Instacart and whatever the Uber Eats version of it is before. So that one's a little more understandable. Web designer, that one's not that bad. Personal trainer, a lot of these are just really weird, obscure like virtual assistant. Who on earth is a virtual assistant? Isn't that something AI has already done? Rent your spare room. This one you need a whole house in order to get into. Transcriptionist. I don't even know what that means. Clean houses. This one you could also do with little to no overhead cleaning houses. So uh, that just depends on if you're comfortable going into some stranger's home and cleaning up their disgusting mess. So I don't know. I thought that this was an interesting topic to cover, so I figured I'd give you guys my input on it because I have some relatively decent experience doing side hustles for my entire life. One of my most lucrative has been electronics repair, but you got to have some experience with electronics for that. So landscaping, in my opinion, probably my favorite. But if you don't know how to do landscaping, then just stick with spring or fall cleanup, gutter cleaning, power washing, and dog walking. All of that is really, really, really low overhead, and it's very easy to get into, especially if you're on Facebook or Nextdoor. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Smash the like button on your way out, and I'll see y'all next time.